London, 1817. Beneath chandeliers and polite smiles, love died quietly, and no one noticed when it came back to life. He rejected her once, believing duty was nobler than desire. But the Duchess's silence became the kind of wound no time could heal. Now, 3 years later, she returns, colder, wiser, and carrying a secret that could shatter the empire the Duke swore to protect. A torn portrait, letters that never reached their hands, a villain powerful enough to twist truth into scandal, and a society that feeds on whispers more than on mercy. Between candle-lit ballrooms, locked galleries, and rose-covered gardens, two hearts will learn that the true enemy isn't the past, but the pride that keeps it alive. And when vengeance lights its first flame, all of London will ask the same question. Who lied first, the Duke, love itself, or history? We of the ton adore a scandal. We prefer it with ribbons, pearls, and moral ruin. Tonight our stage is Mayfair. Candelabra glow. Carriages breathe steam like tame dragons, and a single absence roars louder than any orchestra. She left without a word. The Duchess of Renford, Arabella. 3 seasons ago, she stepped into a rainstorm and vanished. Society called it heartbreak. I call it precision. Silence can wound far cleaner than steel. He rejected her once. Sebastian, the Duke of Ravensshire, charm sharpened by duty, a tailcoat cut to absolve sins, eyes disciplined to never beg. He chose rank over a woman with wildfire in her lungs. Tonight, he pretends to breathe easily. Our story opens with pain, the kind that smiles at a ball and dies later in a carriage. He stands by the marble steps of Ashdown House, gloves immaculate, neckcloth knotted like a prayer. Every candle finds him, none warms him. Now. The air shifts, a lilac scent, a rustle of silk, a pause that snaps every fan shut. She returns. Arabella steps from a dark barouche, emerald empire gown, gold thread like sunrise, elbow-length gloves, a reticule that could hide a dagger or a letter, hair pinned with patience and battle strategy. She looks at the door of the ballroom, not at him, very elegant, very deliberate, very dangerous. The orchestra swells, the guests gasp without moving their lips. I recommend breathing. You will need it. Pain meets purpose on the gravel. He takes one step. She takes none. The distance remains. This is rejection's echo. It repeats until someone speaks. He bows. He says her name like a man who found water after crossing a desert. Arabella. She inclines her head as if hearing a distant bell. Perfect etiquette. Perfect cruelty. The ripple across the crowd could launch a fleet. I promised a spark of hope. Here it is. He softens. Duty fractures. His hand trembles once. A single tremor can rewrite a life. She smiles. Not sweet. Not cruel. Useful. Then she walks past him toward the stairs, pearls at her throat, resolve at her spine. Revenge in careful heels. Do not mistake her for a storm without aim. Arabella is a scholar of survival. She has returned to correct the ledger, but she has also returned to ask a question. Who truly ruined them? The ballroom receives her like a cathedral receiving light. Walls the blue of a secret. Ceiling frescoed with angels who definitely gossip. Crystal chandeliers. Wax pooling like melted time. Men in tailcoats as sharp as new vows. Ladies in gauze and mischief. Whispers uplifted by violins. The first waltz begins. He crosses the floor. She studies a porcelain vase as if it were a crime scene. A footman glides by with lemonade and sins. We are ready. He asks for a dance. No flourish, no pretense. Just a man attempting honesty at last. Her lashes lower. Her heart beats under green silk. She accepts. This is our first cliff. Hold the rail. They take the floor. Gloved palm to gloved palm. The room blurs into gilding and breath. He keeps his voice low. I wronged you. She keeps hers steady. You were not alone. She speaks of a portrait torn from its frame, of letters that never reached her hand, of a cousin who swore she had been unfaithful, of a rumor seated like nightshade. He listens. He grows pale. Duty never protected him from the truth, only from love. The waltz turns slow and burning. Her bodice glitters with every pivot. His jaw unclenches one heartbeat at a time. He confesses a choice. A dying father. A fortune entangled with another house. A vow forced between love and land. He chose land, he lost both. Sorrow has a geometry. Two people, parallel for years. Tonight the lines tilt toward each other. Hope is not a pardon, and revenge has excellent posture. Arabella wants answers, also justice, also balm. Women of sense are adept at carrying 3 swords in one sheath. Introduce our powerful villain, Lord Vesper Blackthorn, philanthropist by day, patron of artists and architects, collector of debts rarely written. He watches from a balcony in a tailcoat, the color of a favorable verdict. A signet ring winks at every candle. He smiles when people stumble. Vesper once negotiated a railway across a widow's garden. He planted roses over the tracks, so no one complained. He understands how to move a nation without raising his voice. He may have moved a few letters as well. Arabella feels the stare. Sebastian follows her gaze. Vesper lifts a glass. The toast is polite. The message is not. The dance ends. Applause like rain. Gossip like thunder. Arabella exits toward the terrace. Cool air cuts through perfume. She rests a hand on a stone urn. She breathes. Sebastian joins her. He does not touch her. He does not beg. He offers something rarer, the truth. There were letters I wrote and never sent. There were letters I posted and you never saw. There is a portrait of you hidden in my study. I speak to it when the house is silent. I am tired of being brave in the wrong direction. A footman appears. He offers a folded envelope on a silver salver. Cream paper. Dark green seal. Embossed with the Renford crest. The crest of her late mother. Arabella freezes. This seal has not been used since the funeral. The footman bows. A gentleman asked that this be delivered when her grace returned to town. He would not give his name. He said the truth requires timing. She breaks the seal with a nail. 1 page, black ink, a single line. If you wish to know who silenced your love, look to the portrait that is missing its eyes. Her hand tightens. She knows the gallery that holds such a ruin. Ravenshire House, the private wing, the locked door. Sebastian sees the blood leave her face. He asks what the letter says. She folds it and meets his gaze. 1 word at a time. It says we were not fools. It says someone made us. The terrace lantern flickers. A breeze turns the cypresses into listeners. Behind them, the orchestra glides into a new set. Inside, Lord Vesper descends the stairs. Arabella slides the letter into her glove. She squares her shoulders. She speaks with calm fire. Tomorrow, at noon, your private gallery. No chaperones, no lies. If I find what I seek, I will decide whether to forgive you. If I do not, I will burn the rumor out by the root. He nods like a man who has already decided to deserve mercy. He offers his arm back to the ballroom. She refuses and walks ahead. Applause swells for another couple, unaware of history turning. We adore a scandal, but we worship a mystery. Tonight we received both. A duchess who returned with revenge, a duke who learned the shape of truth, a letter that names a thief of love, and a portrait with empty eyes. Our cliff hangs here. Who removed the eyes? Why did the letters vanish? What price will London demand when the door to that gallery opens at noon? Turn the page if you dare. The next step will stain gloves and hearts. If London had lungs, tonight it would be holding its breath. By dawn, every teacup and scandal sheet will hum with one question. Why did the Duchess of Renford ask to meet the Duke in private? Morning arrives with insolent sunlight. A carriage door slams in Grosvenor Square. Inside Ravenshire House, servants scurry as if polishing shame could make it shine. Sebastian waits in his study, where duty and regret share the same chair. He is not the man who once rejected her out of pride. He is worse. He is a man who remembers what it cost him. Arabella enters without announcement. Her gown today is ivory silk embroidered with ivy, delicate and defiant. She looks like forgiveness carved by an artist who still resents the subject. He stands. She does not curtsy. How refreshing. I expected guards, she says. Would they protect me from you or you from yourself? Her tone could frost silver. He almost smiles. Almost. The gallery door waits behind him. It is locked, as it has been for years. The air smells faintly of oil paint and confession. Why did you keep that room closed? She asks. Because some ghosts prefer silence. She lifts her chin. Then let's wake them. The key turns with a sigh. The hinges protest. Dust dances in the light like gossip too old to care. Portraits of ancestors glare down from gold frames, each judging with artistic precision. And there, along the far wall, hangs the ruin she came for. Her portrait. Or rather, what remains. Canvas slashed, eyes cut out cleanly, as if removed by a surgeon of vengeance. Her breath catches, his heart forgets its rhythm. Who did this? She whispers. He shakes his head. I never knew. I thought... You. She turns sharply. I left, Sebastian. I did not destroy what loved me. Their voices echo between marble and memory. He steps closer, stopping a breath away. This was painted before the engagement ended. Yes, she says. And someone wanted it to end before we did. She reaches behind the frame. Her fingers brush paper, crisp, folded, deliberate. A hidden envelope. Wax seal cracked from time. She opens it with trembling grace. Inside, a single note. The same hand that wrote the message from the night before. You trusted love more than truth. Now trust neither. No signature, only an initial. V. Her eyes darken. Vesper. He exhales the name like poison. The man who smiled from the balcony last night. The revelation lands between them like shattered glass. Sebastian grips the frame. He courted my father's favor years ago. I refused his investments. He wanted my land, Arabella. And my silence, she replies. He spread the rumor. He forged the letters. The gallery feels smaller now, as if the walls themselves listen. Sebastian meets her gaze, fierce and unguarded. I will make him answer. No, she says, voice steady. We will. There it is. The alliance neither dared name. Revenge reborn as partnership. Love disguised as war. He laughs softly. You always did prefer strategy to sentiment. Strategy lasts longer, she says. Then let's begin. She moves toward the portrait again. With a delicate handkerchief, she wipes the dust from the canvas. Under the paint, beneath the tear, something glimmers. A faint outline of a hidden seal. Renford crest. Invisible unless touched by light. Another message, she murmurs. Or a warning, he adds. She glances back at him, eyes burning with purpose. If Vesper forged letters once, perhaps he forged more. Then he holds proof that can destroy us both. The gallery door creaks as it closes behind them. Outside, the household continues as if the world has not just changed. Inside, truth rearranges itself like a new constellation. Our Duchess has her clue. Our Duke has his guilt. And London, ever hungry, will soon have its next feast of whispers. At this moment, one question reigns supreme. Can love survive the truth it was denied? Tomorrow will answer. Or ruin them both. If you think vengeance lacks etiquette, you have not been properly introduced to the Duchess of Renford. Arabella could sip tea while plotting an empire's fall, and smile sweetly through it all. 2 days after the gallery discovery, the scandal begins to simmer. Rumors glide through drawing rooms like perfume. They say the Duke and Duchess are meeting in secret. They say the Duchess returned not for love, but for leverage. And they say Lord Vesper is most amused. London lives for whispers. It feeds on what it invents. This morning, Ravenshire House hosts a charitable luncheon. How noble, how convenient. Vesper himself will attend, as if summoned by fate or arrogance. Arabella insists on going. Sebastian insists on accompanying her. For the first time in years, they agree on something. The ballroom gleams again. Crystal, silver, and deception polished to perfection. Arabella's gown is sapphire blue, trimmed with white lace. She wears confidence like armor. Sebastian stands beside her in black tailcoat and patience. Together they look every inch the reconciled couple, London's favorite illusion. Smile, she murmurs through her fan. We are happy, remember? He leans closer. I have forgotten how. Then pretend, she replies. Society loves sincerity when it's rehearsed. The orchestra begins a minuet. Guests chatter about charity, all while measuring fortunes and reputations. Vesper appears near the terrace, drink in hand, smile as sharp as a blade's reflection. He bows. Your graces. London feels complete again. Arabella's fan stills. Does it? How touching. Sebastian nods coolly. Your railway ventures must keep you busy, Lord Vesper, building tracks across England and perhaps other people's hearts. Vesper laughs softly, only where the soil is weak. His gaze lingers on Arabella. Some wounds never close, do they, Duchess? She tilts her head, voice sugar and steel. Oh, mine healed quite well. It is the scars of others that fascinate me now. The silence that follows could slice glass. A lady nearby drops her fork. Perfect timing. The scandal is now officially alive. Vesper recovers first. Perhaps we should all dine together soon, to reminisce. Reminiscence requires honesty, Sebastian says. You might find the menu unpalatable. Vesper bows again, more mocking than polite, and retreats into a circle of admirers. Arabella exhales, charming as ever. Poison is often pleasant in perfume, Sebastian murmurs. They step aside, pretending interest in the floral arrangements while exchanging war plans in low tones. He's too confident, she whispers. He has something, he answers. Something that can still ruin us. Arabella's eyes narrow. Then we find it first. And how do you propose we do that? With charm, wit, and access, she says, meaning. I'll attend his gathering tomorrow night, alone. Sebastian stiffens. No. Yes, a woman's curiosity can reach places a man's anger cannot. He frowns, jaw tight. You could be in danger. She meets his gaze. I have been in pain. Danger is an upgrade. He almost smiles, the kind that hides desperation. Then I'll follow from a distance. She arches an eyebrow. You'll follow every woman, Duke, not every plan. They both laugh softly, nervous, unwilling. For a fleeting second, the bitterness melts. A memory flickers. The sound of rain, the warmth of shared breath, the night he nearly said he loved her. But London does not allow sentiment to linger. A servant interrupts with a silver tray. A note rests atop. Cream envelope, no seal this time, only a single word written in black ink. Tonight. Arabella folds it quickly. Her pulse quickens. Vesper strikes fast. Sebastian notices. Another message. She nods. He's inviting me before I can invite myself. The orchestra swells, drowning their tension beneath strings and civility. She tucks the note into her glove. The Duchess of Renford smiles again, perfectly calm, magnificently dangerous. Our narrator, meaning me, suggests you remember this moment. A woman's poise is often mistaken for peace. Tonight, beneath chandeliers and deceit, the past will finally knock on the door of truth. Arabella's final glance across the room meets Vesper's. He raises his glass. She raises her fan. And between them, something unspoken burns brighter than candlelight. At midnight, one of them will lose control. But which one? Midnight dresses London in secrets. Carriages line the cobblestones before Vesper's townhouse, every wheel greased with ambition, every guest scented with deceit. This is not a gathering, it is a hunt wearing perfume. Inside, chandeliers bleed light over velvet drapes. Music hums low, not for dancing but for distraction. A violin hides the sound of deals being made. Lord Vesper stands at the top of the stairs like sin waiting for applause. Arabella enters alone. Her gown is deep crimson, the color of both power and warning. Her jewels glint like confessions she refuses to share. Every head turns, even the married ones. Your Grace, Vesper purrs. London feared you had abandoned us again. She curtsies just enough to be improper. I have returned to see what was left of my reputation. Imagine my surprise. You're still holding it. He laughs softly, studying her like a puzzle already solved. And where is your Duke tonight? Repenting, I hope. Her tone is silk. Her eyes are steel. She accepts a glass of champagne she will not drink. The bubbles rise, tiny, desperate, temporary, much like every man in this room. From a shadowed corner, Sebastian watches. He promised to follow from a distance. He kept one of those words. He observes her navigate conversation like a general among pawns. Every smile is a strategy, every tilt of her fan a coded message. Vesper's attention never drifts. He is fascinated, perhaps haunted. When the musicians pause, he leans close. You came for answers. I admire persistence. I came for truth, she replies. Truth is subjective, Duchess. Power is not. He gestures subtly toward a gallery door. Come. I will show you something that may ease your curiosity. She hesitates just long enough for intrigue to win, and follows. The door closes behind them. Candles flicker along the walls, illuminating paintings, each depicting women of status, beauty, tragedy. Patrons, victims, both. At the center stands an unfinished portrait. Her portrait. The same pose, the same emerald eyes. But new brushstrokes, his. You see, Vesper murmurs, I prefer art that tells the truth. The Duke painted you with purity. I prefer honesty. She steps closer, voice low. You forged letters, destroyed lives, all for honesty. I revealed weakness, and I was right. He moves behind her. Even now you hesitate between vengeance and desire. It's written all over your pulse. She turns sharply. Do not mistake fury for affection. He smiles, unbothered. Both make people careless. Before she can respond, the door creaks. Sebastian steps in. His eyes find hers first, then the painting, then Vesper. How touching, Vesper says. A reunion framed by art. Sebastian's voice is quiet, lethal. You've stolen enough canvases. Time to return what isn't yours. Vesper chuckles. Ah, but what if she prefers the artist who never lies? Arabella steps between them. No one here prefers you. Vesper's smile fades, the first crack in his control. You should be careful whom you insult in my house. And you should be careful whom you underestimate, she answers. She throws her glass against the portrait. The impact sprays gold and silence. Behind the dripping paint, a hidden compartment reveals itself, small, carved into the frame. Sebastian crosses quickly, pries it open. Inside, several sealed letters, each bearing the Ravenshire crest. Sebastian stares at them, speechless. Arabella takes one, recognizing her name in his handwriting. Letters she never received, letters that could have saved them both. Vesper's calm shatters. That wasn't meant to be found. Sebastian turns. Nor was your deceit. For the first time, fear flickers behind Vesper's perfect composure. He steps back. Guards approach, uncertain whom to obey. Arabella holds the letters close. You silenced me once. No more. Her voice carries the strength of every woman ever doubted. London will hear what you did. Vesper sneers. London forgets by breakfast. Then we will remind it daily, she says. Sebastian takes her hand, steady but trembling. Let's leave before the truth gets rewritten again. They walk toward the door. Vesper's laughter follows, You think this ends with letters. You have no idea what I've kept hidden. The Duchess turns, eyes burning. Then pray I never decide to look for it. The door slams. Music resumes beyond the walls, as if nothing had happened. But history has changed its tune. Outside, under the chill of midnight, Sebastian speaks softly. Arabella. I wrote them every week. I never stopped. I know, she whispers. And now, so will everyone. The carriage rolls away, wheels splashing through puddles of moonlight. In the window reflection, she catches her own gaze. For the first time, she does not see heartbreak. She sees purpose. But as London sleeps, Vesper's last words coil through the night like smoke. What else has he kept hidden? And who else has paid the price for their silence? Tomorrow will tell, or destroy what little peace they have found. Morning arrives with cruel elegance. Sunlight pours over rooftops, as if mocking those who did not sleep. The city hums with gossip and carriage wheels, and by breakfast, everyone knows. The Duke and Duchess reconciled in secret. No, she uncovered a conspiracy. Apparently there were love letters, hundreds. No, forged letters, thousands. Ah, London, so talented at accuracy's opposite. In the Ravenshire townhouse, scandal meets strategy over tea. Arabella sits by the window, letters spread like battle maps across the table. Some are real, some are not. Distinguishing truth from forgery is a new kind of heartbreak. Sebastian stands near the fireplace, sleeves rolled, patience fraying. His shirt is slightly open at the throat, a dangerous sight before noon. I can't bear that you read them now, he says. I can't bear that I never did before, she answers. Her voice is calm, but her fingers tremble over one envelope. The wax is broken, the ink blurred. She reads quietly. You once asked if I loved you for who you are or who you pretend to be. The answer, Arabella, is yes. She folds the letter and looks up at him. It sounds like you. It is me, he insists. But Vesper forged some, remember? How do I know which words were yours and which were his? He crosses the room slowly, stopping beside her chair. You'll know, because mine were never clever enough to deceive you. That earns him the faintest, most unwilling smile. Then, soft footsteps. A maid appears with a curtsy. Forgive me, Your Grace, but this arrived by courier. No sender. Another envelope. Green wax again. The seal, V. Arabella breaks it. A single line in the same arrogant hand. You have my letters. I have something better. No signature, no hint, just that. Sebastian takes it from her, jaw tightening. He's playing a new game. Arabella rises. No, the same game, higher stakes. She moves toward the window, watching London glitter below. Whatever he has, it's enough to make him bold again. He nods. And we can't expose him without proof. Then we'll find it. But how? Through the one thing he underestimates most. She turns to him. What's that? A woman's ability to pretend she's finished. He studies her, admiration and fear warring quietly behind his eyes. Arabella, he says gently, revenge has already cost you once. Then let it pay interest. A knock interrupts. The butler enters, grave as a tombstone. Your Grace, a message from Lord Blackthorn's household, an invitation for a portrait unveiling this evening. Sebastian frowns. Unveiling? Arabella takes the card. Yes, and it says the subject is a woman of rare courage and tragic grace. They exchange a glance. The trap is practically embroidered in gold, and she will walk into it. Night again. Rain tonight, soft and persistent. London loves to weep when its nobles scheme. Vesper's mansion glows like sin behind velvet curtains. Guests arrive in a parade of diamonds and vanity. Arabella enters on Sebastian's arm, both perfectly composed. He wears authority. She wears danger. The main gallery gleams, walls crowded with new paintings, each more dramatic than the last. Lightning flashes outside, throwing silver ghosts across the marble. A hush falls. Vesper steps forward, glass raised. My dear friends, tonight I reveal my finest work, a portrait that captures the price of pride and the cost of silence. He pulls the crimson drape. Gasps ripple through the room. It is Arabella, but not as she stands now. This version of her kneels, weeping, letters scattered around her, while a man, Sebastian, turns away in the background. Every detail cruelly intimate. Every brushstroke calculated to humiliate. Sebastian's fists clench. Arabella's heart slams once, then steadies. She steps forward, voice cold as cut glass. How tragic. You've confused portraiture with obsession. Vesper smiles. Truth deserves its frame. She circles him slowly, and lies deserve their fire. Before anyone can intervene, she lifts a candle from a nearby table and presses the flame to the edge of the canvas. It catches instantly. Orange light devours paint. Gasps turn to chaos. The fire roars like applause. Sebastian grabs her hand, pulling her back as servants rush in. Smoke curls toward the ceiling, carrying the last remnants of Vesper's vanity. He snarls, advancing through the haze. You'll regret that. She faces him without flinching. I already did once. Then she drops something at his feet. A folded parchment, one of the forgeries. I believe this belongs to your collection. As flames climb higher, Sebastian leads her out. Rain greets them again, washing away ash and fear. He laughs quietly, disbelief and admiration tangled together. You set his masterpiece on fire. She shrugs. Consider it a critique. But under her calm, a new thought begins to form, sharp and uneasy. Vesper wasn't shocked enough. He expected this. He wanted her to burn it. She glances back at the blazing mansion. Sebastian, she says softly, what if the painting wasn't the point? He frowns. Then what was? Her gaze narrows. The frame. Inside that frame, now engulfed in fire, had been carved wood, thick enough to hide anything. Letters, documents, proof. And as the flames eat it all, London loses whatever evidence could have freed them completely. The Duchess saved her honor. The Duke defended her name. But the villain may have just won the game. Because sometimes victory burns brighter than truth. And love must learn to rise from ashes. Tomorrow, the ashes will start whispering back. Rain has a habit of revealing what pride conceals. By morning, the ashes of Lord Vesper's gallery are all that remain. Black lace upon marble, art turned to confession. London, of course, calls it delicious. One cannot spell high society without scandal. Arabella wakes to thunder and headlines. The Duchess burns the Duke's rival alive in paint. How generous of the press to improve her reputation with arson. Sebastian sits opposite her, reading the same paper with grim amusement. They make you sound rather heroic. Then they clearly weren't there. Heroism smells less of smoke. He folds the page, sighing. Vesper will strike back. He always does. Let him, she says. I've lost everything before. I'm not afraid to do it elegantly again. But even elegance has limits. Moments later, the butler enters, pale and hesitant. A visitor, Your Grace. Inspector Alcott, Scotland Yard. Sebastian exchanges a glance with her. Send him in. The inspector enters, thin, meticulous, carrying authority like a ledger. He bows slightly. Your Graces, Lord Vesper Blackthorne has filed charges. Arson, destruction of property, public endangerment. Arabella lifts an eyebrow. How fascinating. Does he plan to charge the truth as well? The inspector's mouth twitches. He also claims certain documents went missing from the fire, financial records, potential blackmail. Sebastian stiffens. So he accuses us of theft and charity? Essentially. Arabella stands, voice calm. Then you may inform Lord Vesper that the only thing I stole was his ability to lie in peace. The inspector bows again, trying not to smile. I admire your composure, Duchess, but the law admires evidence. When he leaves, silence settles like dust. Sebastian turns to her. If he claims documents were stolen, It means they existed, and now they're gone, she says, or hidden somewhere he believes we can't find. She looks toward the rain-smeared window. I burned his painting, but I never touched the easel. That evening, Ravenshire House becomes a crime scene disguised as a drawing room. Candles flicker over stacks of damp papers, magnifying glasses, and the smell of ink. Arabella kneels beside the hearth, holding a charred scrap of canvas. "Look," she murmurs. "The back of this, writing." Sebastian crouches beside her. The faint scrawl reads, "Renford Estate, North Wing, midnight." His voice hardens. He's hiding something on your family's land. The realization steals her breath. My estate was sealed after my father's death. Only the family crest opens the vault. Then Vesper must have copied the seal. He always preferred forgery to effort. She rises, determination blazing. "Then we go tonight, Arabella. The road is flooded. Then wear boots." By midnight, two silhouettes move through mist and memory. Ravenshire's black carriage cuts through the countryside toward Renford Manor. Once a house of laughter, now a mausoleum of silence. Lightning flashes across its towers. The gates groan open, as if reluctant to remember. Inside, the halls smell of dust and regret. Her footsteps echo. The portraits of ancestors seem to lean closer, curious whether courage skips generations. They reach the north wing, a locked door, the crest of her family carved in brass. She presses a pendant from her neck against it. It clicks. Beyond lies a small chamber, lit only by moonlight through broken glass. A table, a ledger, and a sealed wooden chest. Her father's handwriting across it. "For the truth, when courage returns." Sebastian whispers, "Arabella, wait," but she's already opened it. Inside, stacks of letters, maps, and one signed confession. Vesper Blackthorne acknowledges receipt of Ravenshire's investment for Renford Ironworks in exchange for manipulation of correspondence between the families. Her breath catches. "He was paid to separate us." Sebastian stares at the signature. "My father." The storm outside cracks open the night. Water leaks through the roof, dripping onto the papers like unwanted tears. Arabella closes the chest carefully. "So this was the price of pride." He takes her hand. "And the cost of silence." A distant noise breaks the moment. Footsteps. Heavy, deliberate. Vesper's voice, smooth and venomous, fills the hall. "I should have guessed you'd come home for your own ghosts." He steps from the shadows, soaked and smiling. "Touching reunion. Now hand me the chest." Sebastian moves in front of Arabella. "Not tonight." Vesper lifts a pistol, gleaming under lightning. "Oh, I insist." Arabella's heart races. She glances at the fireplace poker nearby, an old Renford heirloom. She's faster than her fear. When he steps forward, she strikes his wrist. Steel meets bone, the gun falls, a shot fires wild, smoke, echoes, chaos. Sebastian lunges, wrestles him to the ground. For a moment both men freeze, strength against fury. Then Vesper slips on the wet floor, crashing against the marble edge of the chest. Silence. Only the rain speaks now. Arabella kneels, trembling. He's alive, barely, but the power in his eyes is gone. She turns to Sebastian. "We end this here." They burn the confession in the hearth, not to hide it, but to release it. The ashes rise between them like absolution. Sebastian looks at her. "We've destroyed the proof." "We don't need proof anymore," she says softly. "Only peace." Outside, dawn begins its slow apology. The storm recedes. And for the first time in years, the silence between them feels like safety, not punishment. But as the fire dies, a single ember lands on the floor, revealing a second, smaller envelope beneath the chest. Unopened, sealed with the Renford crest. Arabella lifts it, pulse quickening. Inside, a message written in her mother's hand. "If love ever returns to this house, follow the roses to the truth I could not tell." Her eyes widen. "Sebastian, my mother knew." He frowns. "Knew what?" She looks toward the window, where the overgrown garden shimmers in the rain. that Vesper wasn't working alone. And just like that, our Duchess finds herself standing at the edge of another secret. Because in London, love never dies quietly. It leaves trails, and this one leads straight into the thorns. Morning returns, pale and cautious, as if afraid of what it might find. The storm has passed, but its echo lingers in the Renford halls. Broken glass, scorched paper, and two hearts too proud to rest. Arabella sits near the window, clutching her mother's letter. Her hair, undone from the night's chaos, falls over one shoulder like memory refusing to be tamed. Sebastian, exhausted, watches her from the doorway. "You haven't slept." "Neither has the truth," she answers. He walks closer, eyes soft. "Read it again." Slowly. She unfolds the page. The ink has faded, but the message still bleeds meaning. "If love ever returns to this house, follow the roses to the truth I could not tell." Arabella glances toward the garden beyond the cracked window, once her mother's sanctuary, now a wilderness of thorns. "Roses," she murmurs. Every path in that garden led somewhere secret. Sebastian smiles faintly. "Then I suppose we should take a stroll among ghosts." The morning air bites their skin as they step into the overgrown maze. Rain drips from the branches, each droplet catching the fragile light of dawn. The rose bushes stand taller than memory, tangled in silence and scent. Arabella traces one stem with her gloved fingers. "She planted these after my father's death, said they were her way of talking to heaven. Then she hid something worth hearing," Sebastian says. They follow the path deeper into the maze, past statues swallowed by ivy, past benches cracked with neglect. Finally, they reach a stone fountain, long dry. In its center, a single rose bush blooms unnaturally red, untouched by decay. At its base, carved faintly into the stone, are the initials E.W., Eleanor Renford, her mother. Arabella kneels. "There," she whispers. "Something's beneath it." Sebastian helps her lift the heavy roots, revealing a small iron box, rusted but intact. Inside, a diary, wrapped in lace once white, now ivory with time. Arabella's hands tremble as she opens it. The first page begins with elegant handwriting. "To my daughter, when the world no longer lies to her." She reads aloud, her voice breaking with every line. "I once believed loyalty and silence were the same. They are not. When your father died, I was approached by a man who promised protection for our name. His was Lord Vesper Blackthorne, but he did not act alone. The one who signed his fortune was a Ravenshire." Sebastian's heart stops. "My father," he breathes. Arabella's eyes fill with something heavier than tears. Truth. He paid Vesper to destroy us, to save his title, to save you. The diary continues. Vesper offered ruin or alliance. The Duke of Ravenshire chose alliance. "I signed the contract to protect you, Arabella. I thought I could end it when you married his son. I was wrong. They wanted your silence, not your hand." Arabella closes the book slowly. Her voice is steady, but the air around her trembles. "So it wasn't just Vesper. It was both of our fathers." Sebastian stares at the roses, their beauty now almost cruel. "He ruined us before we ever began." She stands, looking at him, truly looking. "You're not him, Sebastian. His choices made me who I am." "Then make new ones," she says. "End it differently." He steps closer. "Tell me how." She meets his gaze, her voice like silk, sharpened by truth. "By forgiving what they destroyed and rebuilding what they feared." A sound breaks the fragile air, a rustle beyond the hedges. A figure emerges, limping, drenched, and furious. Vesper, alive. He claps slowly, blood on his sleeve, smile cracked like glass. "Touching," he rasps. Two heirs of betrayal standing in their parents' grave. Sebastian moves forward, protective. Arabella lifts a hand. "No, let him speak. He came for an ending." Vesper laughs, breath ragged. "You think this is about love? It never was. It was about legacy, about what the Ravenshires owed and the Renfords owned. He staggers closer, pointing at the diary. That book doesn't free you, it condemns you. The moment it's seen, every name in it burns. Arabella tilts her head. Then I won't show it to anyone. He blinks. What? I don't need to prove I was wronged. I just need to stop living as if I was. For the first time, Vesper falters. Mercy is weakness, he hisses. No, she says softly. It's the only thing that outlives men like you. Sebastian steps forward. Leave, Vesper. Leave before I decide my father's sins deserve company. Vesper stumbles backward, defeated by truth more than strength. He disappears into the mist like a chapter finally closing itself. As the sun climbs higher, the garden brightens. The red roses glisten, their petals heavy with rain and revelation. Arabella holds the diary against her chest. Sebastian takes her hand. I don't deserve you, he whispers. You don't need to deserve me, she replies. You only need to choose me. He kisses her hand. A promise, not possession. And for the first time since that long-ago rejection, she allows herself to breathe without armor. Behind them, the roses sway in the breeze, whispering the story of two families, two hearts, and one truth. That love, when stripped of pride and lies, is the most dangerous honesty of all. But if you think our Duchess's tale ends here, dear listener, you underestimate both her courage and London's appetite for unfinished hearts. For at the edge of the garden, half buried in earth, lies another box. Smaller. Older. Marked not with EW, but with the initials SR Sebastian Ravenshire. The earth remembers what men forget. And beneath the Renford roses, it remembers too much. Arabella and Sebastian stand in silence before the small dirt-covered box. The initials are unmistakable. SR. He kneels, brushing away the soil with hands still shaking from the night before. The metal is cold, the lock rusted shut. No key, no invitation, only inheritance. Your father hid something here, she murmurs. Sebastian exhales slowly. He must have buried it before the deal with Vesper went sour, before he destroyed us. He lifts the box. The weight surprises him, not heavy like gold, heavy like regret. Inside the manor, candlelight flickers across cracked walls. They place the box on an old table. Rain begins again, faint and polite, as if London can't resist applauding tragedy. Arabella nods. Open it. Sebastian hesitates, then pries the latch with a poker. The lock breaks with a sigh, as though relieved to surrender. Inside, a ledger, a sealed envelope, and a miniature portrait. Of her. Arabella freezes. That can't be. It's you, he whispers. Younger, painted before we ever met. She lifts it gently. The same eyes, the same expression. But she was never painted before her debut. Your father had this. Why? Sebastian opens the ledger, page after page of financial notes, coded transactions, and names of nobles long thought spotless. And among them, one entry circled twice. Commission, portrait of Lady Arabella Renford. Artist, E. Ravenshire. Her voice falters. Your mother painted this. Sebastian's face drains of color. My mother. Died when I was a boy. Arabella meets his gaze, realization dawning like slow thunder. Then she knew mine. She painted me before I ever came to London. He flips through the pages faster, searching for reason. At the back, a letter sealed in wax. The crest, Ravenshire. He breaks it. My son, if you are reading this, then truth has already found you. The woman you will one day love is the daughter of my greatest mistake. Her father's ruin paid for our family's survival. But what I did not tell anyone, not even your mother, is that she tried to stop me. She painted the girl to remind me what innocence looked like before I traded it for power. Do not atone by silence as I did. Love her loudly. Love her even when the world demands your loyalty instead. Your father, A. Ravenshire. The letter trembles in Sebastian's hands. The room feels smaller. Arabella's breath catches between disbelief and heartbreak. So your father condemned us and tried to save us. Yes, Sebastian says quietly. Too late. She closes the box. Then we finish what they couldn't. He looks at her. How? By ending the legacy of silence. 2 days later, the great houses of London receive gilded invitations. The Duchess of Renford and the Duke of Ravenshire request the honor of your presence at an evening of truth. Society adores drama, but nothing prepares it for honesty. The ballroom of Renford House glows with candlelight and gossip. Every whisper carries perfume and danger. Arabella stands at the center, radiant, composed, every inch a duchess reborn. Sebastian joins her, dressed in midnight blue, dignity pressed into every seam. She raises her glass. 3 years ago, I left London in disgrace. They called it heartbreak, betrayal, pride. They were all right. Laughter, nervous and thin. But tonight, I return not to correct the rumors, only to retire them. My father and his, the late Duke of Ravenshire, believed silence was virtue. It was vanity. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Sebastian's voice joins hers, steady as a vow. They built fortunes from deceit. We choose to build none from it. Vesper, pale, cornered but still standing, glares from the edge of the crowd. You'll destroy yourselves, he hisses. Arabella turns to him. Perhaps, but at least we'll do it honestly. Applause erupts. Hesitant at first, then unstoppable. London loves redemption almost as much as it loves ruin. As the orchestra resumes, Arabella exhales, tears glinting like stolen diamonds. Sebastian takes her hand. You just told the ton you loved me. I told them I forgave you, she says softly. He smiles. Same thing. They dance. For once, not as weapons, but as witnesses. Every turn feels like history, learning how to breathe again. The night ends quietly, as all revolutions do, not with thunder, but relief. When the last guest departs, Arabella looks around the empty ballroom. Do you think they'll ever forget? Not a chance, Sebastian says. But that's the point. She laughs, resting her head against his shoulder. Outside, the city hums, rain washing the cobblestones clean. Tomorrow, the papers will print scandal. But tonight, London has witnessed something rarer. Not just love, courage dressed in silk. And yet, beyond the city, in a locked studio at the edge of Grosvenor Square, a servant sweeps ashes into a bin. Under the soot lies something the fire did not destroy. A fragment of canvas from Vesper's burnt painting. On it, faint words written in black oil paint. The truth you seek was never mine to forge. The servant pauses, frowning. Beneath the signature Vesper, another line, almost hidden by smoke. Ask her about the summer of 1804, her, the Duchess's mother, Eleanor Renford. Because even when love wins, London never closes its mouth. It only whispers softer, until someone listens again. Dito por si, continue. Dito pelo chat GPT, Chapter 9, London, 1817. If truth had a scent, it would smell like rain on old stone, and if love had a sound, it would be the hush before confession. The night after the ball, London sleeps, but not the Duchess of Renford, not Arabella. She stands alone in the study, the fragment of Vesper's painting laid across the desk, the words still visible beneath soot and time. Ask her about the summer of 1804. Her heart drums against the silence. Her mother, Eleanor, would have been 19 then, barely older than Arabella was when she first met Sebastian. She traces the words with a trembling finger. What secret could be old enough to survive 2 generations of ruin? Sebastian enters quietly, coat unbuttoned, hair untamed, the picture of an honest man who finally stopped caring about appearances. You're awake, he murmurs. So is the past. She turns the canvas toward him. Vesper wasn't lying entirely. He wanted us to find this. Sebastian frowns. Then it's bait. Maybe, or maybe it's what he couldn't burn. He looks closer. The summer of 1804. That was before either of us were born. Exactly, she says. Whatever began then, we inherited it. By morning, they travel to Bath, her mother's birthplace, a town of steam and whispers. The air smells of lavender and secrets too polite to fade. Arabella carries the diary and the burnt canvas fragment in her reticule. Sebastian, ever the rational man, carries a pistol and a prayer. They arrive at an old stone manor on the edge of the countryside, Rose Hill Retreat, once a boarding house for women of delicate condition, now abandoned. Inside, the air is still. Dust floats like regret. Arabella finds the guest ledger beneath a cracked frame. Her gloved finger follows the ink until she stops at a familiar name, Eleanor Renford. Room 3, and beneath it, another signature, faint but unmistakable, A. Ravenshire. Sebastian's throat tightens. My father. They find the room. The window is half broken, the curtains brittle with age. Arabella opens a drawer and freezes. Inside lies a locket, gold, heart-shaped, engraved with the Ravenshire crest. When she opens it, the miniature inside shows two faces, her mother's and the Duke of Ravenshire. She drops it. The sound rings through the room like thunder. No, she whispers. Sebastian picks it up, his face pale as marble. She loved him. Or he used her, she says bitterly. He reads the inscription etched along the rim. For the summer we should have forgotten. For a moment, neither speaks. Then slowly, everything falls into place. Her mother, his father. A love that defied the rules, destroyed by shame, buried under generations of pride. Sebastian sinks into a chair, hand over his mouth. My father ruined us before we were born. Arabella swallows hard. And yet, somehow, we found each other again. The realization is both unbearable and beautiful. Their family's sins had created the distance between them. Their love became the bridge. She kneels before him. We can't undo their past, but we can refuse to repeat it. He lifts his head, eyes shining. How? By refusing to hide. That evening they return to London. The Tun expects them to flee scandal. Instead, they invite it for supper. Arabella stands before the gathered crowd once again. The same faces that once whispered her ruin. My mother was not a villain, she says clearly. She was a woman who loved wrongly in a world that judged too easily. Sebastian joins her. And my father was not a hero. He was a man who mistook silence for honor. Gasps ripple through the room. But neither flinch. Arabella continues. The truth will not end our family's legacy. It will finally begin it. She turns to Sebastian, voice trembling but certain. Your father's sins do not define you. And my mother's love does not shame me. We were born from mistakes, yes, but also from courage. He takes her hand. For the first time, he says, I'm proud of both. Applause follows, scattered, uncertain, but growing. Because even the cruelest hearts of London cannot resist redemption when it wears a gown of grace. Later, as the crowd disperses, they stand on the balcony overlooking the city. The rain begins again, soft and familiar. He brushes a raindrop from her cheek. So it ends where it began, he says. She smiles faintly. No, Sebastian. It begins where it finally makes sense. He leans closer, whispering. What now? Now, she says. We live the life they never could. Below, London glitters like repentance. Above, thunder mutters approval. But somewhere, deep inside Rose Hill Retreat, another ledger lies hidden under the floorboards. Newer ink, unfamiliar handwriting. A name signed with a flourish. Monsieur Blackthorne, Lord Vesper's son. And he, too, has been listening. Because even when the storm passes, the rain always remembers where to fall. The year turned, and London pretended to forgive. Scandal ages quickly in the Tun. Faster than youth, slower than guilt. By spring, the Duchess of Renford and the Duke of Ravenshire had become the city's favorite paradox, the couple who survived truth. Arabella's portrait, the real one, now hangs in the Ravenshire Gallery, eyes intact, expression serene. It was painted anew by her own hand, because sometimes, to reclaim history, one must rewrite it in brushstrokes. But peace, as London teaches so well, is simply the pause between secrets. On a golden morning in April, a letter arrives. Cream envelope, wax seal, the same serpent coiled around a rose, not Vesper's crest, but close. Arabella breaks it open. The handwriting is unfamiliar, elegant, practiced. My father admired you, Duchess, even in ruin. He often said that truth is best appreciated by those willing to burn for it. I intend to see if that's still true. Monsieur Blackthorne. Her pulse quickens. Sebastian enters, already suspicious. Another Blackthorne? His son, she says softly. He's alive, and he knows everything. He takes the letter, scanning it. The wax is fresh. He's in London. She folds her hands. Then let him come. We've faced one ghost already. But her tone falters, because some ghosts inherit their father's patience. That evening, they attend a private recital at Lord Pembroke's estate. A harmless social ritual, unless one notices the stranger at the back of the hall. Tall, composed, eyes the same shade of storm as Vesper's, but sharper, colder. He watches them, not as a man intrigued, but as a judge taking measure. After the performance, he approaches. Your Graces, he says with a perfect bow. How lovely to meet the reason my father died disgraced. Sebastian's jaw tightens. Then you know what he did. I know what you say he did, replies Marius Blackthorne, but history, as you've proven, favors storytellers. Arabella steps forward, voice calm. If you came for vengeance, you're wasting your life on another man's grave. He smiles faintly. I came for truth. The same thing that burned your ballroom. He produces a folded document from his coat, yellowed but preserved. Her heart stops when she sees the seal. Renford. Marius tilts his head. My father didn't forge everything. He kept this. A letter your mother wrote. To him. He hands it to her and leaves before she can respond. Later that night, Arabella opens it by the fire. Sebastian watches in silence as she reads aloud. Vesper, you promised to keep our secret buried. If the children ever learn, it will destroy them both. You and I are bound by sin and silence, not love. Burn this when I am gone. Her hand trembles. It's her mother's handwriting. Her worst fear confirmed. Vesper and Eleanor. A partnership. Not of affection. Of guilt. Sebastian kneels beside her. Arabella, this doesn't change who you are. It changes everything. She lied to protect me, and maybe to protect him. He takes the letter gently from her hands and feeds it to the fire. No more ghosts. No more letters. The paper curls, blackens, vanishes. Only us. She looks at him through tears. Are we free now? He smiles, weary and certain. Freedom isn't the absence of secrets, Arabella. It's choosing which ones deserve to die. Months later, the world moves on. The Duke and Duchess are seen walking together through Hyde Park, laughter replacing silence. The Ton calls it redemption. I call it courage wearing gloves. But some endings, like certain perfumes, linger. In a small studio by the Thames, Marius Blackthorne opens a new journal. He sketches the Duchess's face from memory, calm, defiant, beautiful. Below it, he writes, the next chapter of the Ravenshire-Renford affair begins with me. He closes the book. The candle beside him flickers, catching the edge of the page. A whisper escapes his lips. Let's see if love still survives truth. And so, dear listener, our tale of pride and forgiveness ends, or rather pauses, exactly as all good London stories do. With a secret still alive, a heart still mending, and the promise of one more scandal waiting politely in the wings. Because in this city, even the happiest endings are simply invitations to begin again. And thus, dear listener, another chapter of scandal and sincerity closes its gilded door. For in London's grand theatre of hearts, love is rarely gentle, but always worth the ruin. if your soul still aches for redemption, for letters lost, for second chances dressed in silk, then stay, my dearest. There are more stories hidden between lace and heartbreak, waiting only for those brave enough to listen. So do not vanish just yet. Subscribe, leave your thoughts below, and let the next secret find you. Because somewhere, behind every polite smile, another Duchess is about to fall in love, quite disastrously. Until our next scandal.